We are actually here today to talk about the people that do go a little bit overboard at Christmas time.
She's talking about me.
And it literally gets to January and you go, why did I do that? I'm now going to spend the entire year paying off my credit card. I'm in a big hole.
Yeah, and it's worse if you've got family as well, because January is the most expensive time for the start of the school year, and it's kind of just cost after cost. And if you're having to pay off your credit cards, it is just not a healthy way to start the start of a new decade, certainly the start of a new year.
How many people do it? How many people do you see through your doors that really, like, is it the worst time for people spending?
Yes, as far as the quarters of the year go, absolutely. So you've got the Christmas hangover, you've got the starting back at school. You're probably going, because most people change jobs or consider changing jobs during the new year, so there's a time where you're entertaining lack of income, and then you need a holiday to cope with it, and so it's just kind of a layer of you're making it really hard for yourself.
So what do we need to know here? What can we do to avoid getting ourselves in a giant hole?
Well, I think you need to set a budget for Christmas. Most people don't. Yeah. They just spend what they feel like spending.
Streety, will you set a budget for Christmas?
Yeah, I'm within it currently. There's still 2 weeks to go, but I'm currently in the budget.
And then it's okay, against the budget, how much have you spent, and are you on track to remain in budget?
I'll need to check my files.
I'm going to take the fifth.
What is a decent budget, do you think, at Christmas time?
What
do we think per present?
It can range from $500 to, that's not per present, that's for the
total
whole family. And I've had one client that's been as little as $150.
Yep.
And they still believed in Christmas, but it wasn't something that they
just didn't celebrate it
the way that we do. You know, with presents and gifts and overcompensating for everything else. But the most I've seen spent on Christmas was $6,000 from my clients.
Whoa! And that was an allocated budget.
And that wasn't including food, or it was just
that
gifts?
Included food on the day, but it didn't include what you do over the Christmas period. You know, because often you might go away for a couple of days. This was just pure presents and Christmas Day.
So what are the tips and tricks then? Let's talk about the person that's spending a total of $150, and look, that might include numerous children. How do you stick to a budget like that?
Yeah.
Well, you have to write the list of what you're going to spend it on, so that's a bit excruciating, because a lot of people like to kind of be a little bit free with their spending. You're planning for what they need in January as well, so you're trying to incorporate the back to school with the Christmas.
Like a new school bag or something. Good idea.
Yeah. They are agreeing with people up front that they're not going to buy Christmas presents. So for adults, you don't tend to, because that can work, provided both of you are going to adhere to that. Like, I could say to my mum, we're not buying Christmas presents,
and she still would,
and then everyone feels guilty about it.
It's funny you say that, because 3 times Matt and I have said we're definitely not doing presents, are we? And we actually had to shake on it, because how awkward on Christmas Day if one's got a present.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is awkward.
Cutting out adults is a really good idea.
Yeah, or
look, I'm not going to get around that, Streety, because I like getting presents, but okay, yeah.
And agreeing with friends that say that you're not going to buy gifts, but you'll go out to do something to celebrate together. So,
that's quite a good idea. A bit of a lunch instead of
and then no one feels guilty, because there's the Scrooge who doesn't like. There's a generous person who doesn't like the fact that you're not giving gifts, because that's part of their personality to be generous. So if it can be incorporated with some form of giving, then that's really nice. The Secret Santa doesn't go. It's pretty good. Yeah. I think last year we did a bottle, a theme. So you had to give someone a bottle, something in a bottle, or a book, or you might do a reuse Christmas, where if you can set the theme in advance and there's the cap on it, then that's the easiest.
And
thing
it's
to
not
stay
too
on
late
budget.
to set those themes, because a lot of people don't do their shopping until the last week. So we've still got 2 weeks.
I mean, that's a great tip too, because what I tend to do is I don't do any shopping until the 24th, and then things get really expensive because I panic buy, and you go, because I haven't put any thought into it, what I'm going to do is spend a lot to make up for that.
Yes, yeah.
What are your thoughts on these things like Afterpay and all that? Because for most people, there's like one pay left before Christmas, and it's just tempting because, I've just got 3 payments after Christmas. What do you think?
So it's really common for people to max out their credit card, which is the first thing, or use Afterpay or lay-by or whatever it is, which just means it pushes everything to the new year, so you don't even contain it in December. Yeah. It's affecting the next year. If you do have to use a credit card, I would say that the thing you need to do is to look to refinance your credit card once it's maxed out, so that you're at least on a 1% interest rate. Because if you're struggling to pay it back, to have 20% added on top of that means that it's going to take you to March in some instances to pay it back.
So you get to January or mid-Jan, your credit card's completely maxed out. You can then go and finance that on 1% and get rid of all that interest.
Yeah, so you can move it to a different bank. So
Right.
the rule is that it's just got to be moved to a different bank, and the new bank has different interest rates that they offer. So ANZ might offer 1.99%, or Kiwi Bank might be 2%, or whatever it is. But you can refinance it now. That process takes around 3 weeks to do. You just do it online. So you want to maybe that's your Boxing Day task, is to get that debt moved over and then work on a plan of how you're going to pay this off.
I can attest to that because Matt and I did that, and it was revelation. I didn't know you could do it.
I didn't know that.
There you go.
Great tips. Hannah McQueen, thank you so much. Christmas doesn't have to be super expensive, but you do need to plan. So write it down, folks.